Well, if you love violence, once again, you've come back to the right place. I'm Erik Apple here on the Fight Guys, and we're joined by somebody who, as I was thinking about him this morning, I was like, wow, there's not many people in the sport who's probably got more cool and interesting stories than me, but this guy is towards the top of that list. Welcome, Chris Lytle. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Brother, thank you for letting me come hang out with you for a little bit, talk a little bit.
Now, Chris and I met because we commentated, I believe, 2 ex-MMA events, and I was honestly bummed. I was like, man, I really like commentating with that guy. I wish it would have gone on longer. But Chris, you don't have to worry about that because you are so busy with BKFC, aren't you?
Man, I can't believe how busy this organization has got me right now. We're all over the place, going to different countries. Just got back from Canada, going to England next month. Got Italy the month after that. They're just we're all over the place. It's fantastic.
Sounds like you're racking up those miles, right?
Hey, I'm platinum, executive platinum, baby. I fly everywhere for first class.
It's funny because people who don't travel a lot, they think that stuff don't matters. But once you start flying 100,000 miles a year, your status makes a difference, doesn't it?
Brother, I mean, yeah, it's funny. I feel like whenever I get on the plane now and I look at the people and coach, I'm like, oh, you peasants, you know, and I should be one of them. You know, I am. I buy the cheap ticket. I just get bumped up because I fly all the time. So
yeah, that stuff definitely matters. So tell us and share a little bit about your role and your experience with BKFC, because it seems like it's going very well.
Man, I was so fortunate. I remember, I retired from the UFC. I'm just kind of hanging out, doing my thing, and I see when the gym comes in, they go, hey, have you seen your buddy Joe Riggs is doing bare-knuckle fighting? I go, what is wrong with Joe? Why would he does he owe money to gangsters? What's going on? So I watch a video, and I'm like, halfway through, I'm looking at it, and I go, who do I talk to do this? And they're like, what? And they were surprised. Like, you said it was 2, but I said, man, I got to do this. You know, I just be like, I started fighting in '98. You could headbutt, you could do anything. Got the old school rules, and it was a different feel. And when I saw bare knuckle, it gave me that again. So I had to go do a fight over in England. It wasn't legal here. Then in the States, David Feldman them got it legal and got a hold of me, and I was all about it. But I was like 44. I'm like, man, I don't have many years left in me. I just want to do a couple fights, and then I've had the boxing matches, about 80 MMA, 3 bare knuckle. I said, commentate. Nobody else has that kind of experience, so I just kind of fell into a good situation.
You know, do you feel like, and this is what I feel like, you tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like you had a very crafty stand-up boxing style that kind of fit right into bare-knuckle boxing. Would you agree?
100%. I wasn't a traditional boxer. You know, when I did boxing, but I was like an inside grimy fighter in that. And MMA, you can't fight like that because you'll get taken down. So I had to develop a different style. But I will say when I went to do bare knuckle, I totally had to change the way I did a lot of things. But a lot of the things translated over because, like you said, I wasn't just going to be a guy who stood out the entire time and had a traditional boxing stance. Because to be honest with you, those guys haven't done well in bare knuckle. The traditional boxers have not.
Yeah, it's definitely its own sport, right? It's not like you can just go straight in there with MMA or straight in there with boxing. A friend of ours, Austin Trout, he's done pretty well. I can't think of a lot of other traditional boxers that have had a massive success. Why is that?
Well, because there's 2 reasons. One, boxers, in my opinion, they're a little, I won't say arrogant, but they think they're boxers. They don't need to learn anything else. We've had so many boxers come in like, what have you changed? Like, nothing. I don't need to. All right. You better, because those MMA guys are tough and grimy and are a different kind of like just mental toughness, come in and are willing to take shots. Most boxers aren't. But to be honest with you, I think most boxers have not really tried to adapt. Austin Trout has. Austin's went and done Muay Thai, done MMA. That is why he's done so well. That's why he's been successful, because he's learned those little nuances, those little tiny things that are going to make the big difference and stop him from being successful. He went and learned them. And we're going to get more boxers who are going to do the same thing. They're going to learn those little things they have to do to make it different, and they're going to be successful.
Yeah, talk about, like, is it the lack of gloves, so you have to have a tighter guard? Is it just straight toughness? Can you describe some of the differences?
It is, yes, it's all those things. I mean, it is the lack of gloves. You can't block this thing. You know, get your hands in this position, fists go right through that. I can block this all day long with gloves. Boxers are so used to that. It's not the same thing. So when they come in there and they haven't trained for that, it's different. But then you also just have, I mean, most boxers, I know that my favorite style of fighting was like those Mexican style inside, tough Julio Cesar Chavez type fighters. I mean,
it's very obvious that's your favorite.
Look at my face. You can tell. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's not a lot of boxers like that anymore. They're more technicians. That's not what you can do in bare knuckle. You get in there, you get hit once, you figure out real quick. You have to be great, but you also got to do good nail in this sport. You got to be able to take it. You can dish it, but if you can't take it, they're going to get exposed. You're going to get it found out, and you're going to get dropped.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide in there. Talk about your role. I mean, obviously, besides just being a great voice for mixed martial arts and bare knuckle boxing, talk about your role with the company.
Man, they have me out trying to do a lot of public relations as far as with the fighters. I'm one of the few guys in the company, probably the only guy who's really had real fight experience. So it's my job to make sure the fighters are trying to be taken care of. And it's tough because you have, a business side there. They don't understand what I'm talking about half the time. Like at one point we didn't have the scale. They're like, well, it doesn't get here till like the day of the weigh-ins. And I'm like, we can't do that. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're finding guys for missing weight and they don't have any idea what the weigh. And so I'm in there and I'm getting loud and kind of yelling at people. And like, like, oh, okay, Chris, I understand. I'm like, you don't understand because you've never had to cut weight, and try and make weight and deal with this stuff. So we have to do what's best for these fighters. That's kind of one of my to run the tryouts and try and look for new talent. And anybody I think is going to be good at this, I try and bring them over to. Man, I keep telling, especially guys who've been doing something for like 10 years, who've been doing MMA. Man, you know it as well as I do. That's hard on your body, your shoulders, your back, your knees. It's easier on your body. So I'm trying to get those guys with some experience. Quit beating your body up. Come over here and have a good last part of your career.
All you got to worry about is your face and your knuckles.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you got to give up something, man. I'd rather have a couple scars and all the brain damage in like my back. If I can't walk, that'd be a problem.
I mean, you're not wrong. So it sounds like you're kind of like you're an advocate for the fighters, but you work for the promotion, which is great.
It's kind of a weird dynamic. Like I said, I do feel like a lot of times I'm at odds with the people at the promotion, but I understand they have their mindset. I got to get this done. And my mindset is I got to do what's best for these fighters. Yeah.
What about switching gears here a little bit? Is there anybody in MMA or UFC or PFL or ONE? Does anybody get you excited anymore? I talk to a lot of fighters these days, and a lot of people have just tuned out unless it's a massive fight.
Man, I don't care. I'm not all about wins and losses. You know what I mean? I want guys who come to fight. I'm a big fan. I like the way he comes out and brings it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to have a lot of problems in the future. He deals with war every time. It's what I like to see. But, I mean, it's not healthy for you. It's not good for you. But, I mean, he's a fun guy to watch, I like watching Dan Hooker. I know anybody who kind of brings it all the time is the guy who I like. I'd rather watch that than the guy who's going to take you down and hold you there, or a guy who's going to try and just outpoint you. I'm not interested in that.
So it doesn't sound like there's too many guys who really get you excited, though, huh?
Not really. I mean, all of my favorite guys are like retiring now. Like all the old school guys are kind of who fought like that, or they're a dying breed, my friend. All
right. Well, speaking about fighters and as opposed to athletes, I feel like people like yourself, Chuck Liddell, your generation, and my friends. I feel like knowing you guys, you were the kind of people who actually like you like putting people down. You like seeing that it wasn't just a win. You wanted to put a dude down on one knee or on his back.
Man, I've had some wins where I won really quick, and I've had some wins where I had to like mentally break somebody. And I don't care what you say, that's the best feeling in the world. When I beat a guy who I felt like was better than me because I was tougher and I just wore him out and put him down and made him quit, it's kind of one of the best feelings in the world. You're like, man, this guy's one of the best athletes in the world, and I have more heart than him, I have more skill, and I just made him quit. That's an amazing feeling. It's addictive.
I remember having quick bunch of 30-second, 60-second wins, and I hated them because it's like I trained for 8 weeks, 6 days a week, 5 hours a day, and I dieted and I cleaned up my entire lifestyle for 2 months. For this?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. It's cool when you get a quick knockout or something because you're like, okay, I'm fine. I can fight again quick. But they're not none of those are my favorite fights. My favorite fights are the ones where like a 3-round war or whatever it is. You know, when you go back and forth and you win, man, that's amazing because you dealt with adversity, you won, you proved a lot to yourself. Fighting's not just about wins and losses; it's about what you like. To me, it was like a spiritual thing almost. It's like, who am I as a man? Who am I as a person? When I prove that to myself, man, that's a good feeling. When you get a quick win, anybody can do that.
Let me ask you, I'm going to change it up and have a little fun with you. I was, obviously I'm pretty familiar with most of your fights, especially the bigger ones, but I realized you have 5 draws. That's a lot of draws. How did you get so many draws?
Well, I used to fight in Japan a lot in the early days. And I mean, I remember one of my fights that was there and I thought I dominated the fight. Yeah, the fight was backyard. You didn't have bad luck. I remember I fought, and I thought I dominated the fight, and then they called it a draw time. And then afterwards, I thought I dominated that, and they called it a draw. I'm like, I was so pissed. I was walking. I was like, I'm never coming back here. I'm never going to fight. And then they called me a month later. I go, yeah, I'll fight. So it's just, I think I had 3 draws in Japan. I don't know, man. It's just you just fight a lot. Probably got 80 fights. A lot of my fights aren't on my record. When I was fighting in the early days, the late 90s, like they went back and took away about 20 of my wins away. Every fight they took away was a win because they're like, these were unsanctioned states. Fucking what state was sanctioned back then? There was no sanctioning. I don't know why they picked a few and let me have those, but then it was just you just get a lot of fights. Especially back then, no weight classes. Sometimes you just have a fight and they're like, it'd go forever. And they'd say it's a draw. It was a Wild West, those old school days.
Yeah, for sure. Showing up to fight, hoping the cops don't show up and stop the event, right?
Yeah, let me ask. Showing up, and you talk to them. Hey, what are the rules on this? And they'd get together and they'd be like, no headbutts, but you can't knee to the head on the ground. Like you just didn't even know. It was crazy.
Yeah, or showing up not knowing who you're fighting. You just show up. I can't imagine guys these days. Can you imagine fighters these days accepting that? Okay, I'm just going to show up. I might fight at 170. I might fight at 185. I don't know who I'm fighting.
It would never happen, man. These people, I mean, it's so funny when I see these people, they pull out of all these fights. Like, I got a sickness. I know I do. Like, I cannot back out of a fight. Like, no matter what, I will take the fight because if I feel like if I say no, then I'm afraid of somebody. And how are you going to go out there thinking you're the best in the world, expecting to win if you don't expect to win? So, I mean, like, no matter what happened, no matter how hard I was, I would not back out of a fight. And it cost me a couple of times. But at the same time, I think it kept my mentality the way it is that I needed.
Oh, it makes you tougher for sure. Let's keep changing up gears a little bit. The biggest news of this last week is Raja Jackson, Rampage's kid. I'm sure you're familiar with the situation, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's tough, I think, for people, I'm guessing for you just like it is for me, because I like Rampage a lot. I've known Rampage a long time. I live very close to him. I see him around. But, man, this situation with this kid, I think this is going to be big trouble.
I mean, you think there's going to be a lot of legal ramifications because – I don't care if it was supposed to be a work pro wrestling thing. I mean, he just beat the brakes off that guy. And you saw the thing in the background, the guy hits him with his fake can, trying to – and I don't know if he didn't get it or what was going on, but it was you got some anger issues, brother. I don't know what's going on. You beat a guy like that who's unconscious and you just keep hitting him something. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, that Psycho Stu guy, you got to imagine, I mean, he's going to sue for $10 million, if not more. I mean, they said that he had a broken jaw, multiple missing teeth, and they said he was out for an extended period of time, which they're going to say now he has a traumatic brain injury, whether that's permanent or not. So at the very least, you're looking at a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And I feel bad for everybody involved. Obviously, Raja, I think, made absolutely horrible decision, and this could affect the rest of his life because it sounded like on his. I think that's the other thing that makes it worse is he was streaming the whole time. And it makes me think like, I don't know if streaming 24/7 is the best idea, because anything goes wrong, it's like you just provided evidence to the whole world.
Yeah, that's the weird, crazy world we live in. I mean, dude, I remember when glad these things weren't around when I was young. I would be in prison right now. You know, I would
For
never
sure.
have got in trouble. I mean, I don't want any evidence of what I'm doing. I don't know why these people want evidence of everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on Raja's stream they said that he said, like, I'm going to beat this guy till someone has to pull me off of him.
Really?
Yeah, so that's what I understand. And again, I think Rampage is great. I don't know his kid. I don't wish any ill on him. I don't want anybody to get in trouble per se, but I think he's going to get in big trouble.
He not only the financial aspect, like you're talking about, there could be some for real, like, legal problems from this. And you know, I try and keep an open mind about a lot of things. I don't know the complete backstory about anything. You know, I try and really understand that. Maybe more stuff will come out about it, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I would also think that, I don't know, I don't never ask you about your dad, but I would imagine being the son of a former world champion is, no matter how mature you are or what kind of person you are, that's a chip on your shoulder, right? Like, you feel like you need to live up to something or show your toughness, show I'm not someone to be messed around with, would you think?
100%. And like you're saying, I mean, I don't think anybody, like I said, it's hard to put yourself in somebody else's situation. Living in the shadows of somebody your entire life, maybe you feel like, oh, I'm going to prove how tough I am right now. I don't really know exactly what happened or what's going on in his mind, the way he thinks of what's going on. But it's hard to judge somebody unless you've lived in their lifestyle. So I try not to do that. But like I said, there could have been a lot more going on. I really understand. I'm trying to wait to know all the facts. I know what I've seen. I've seen, you know, quite a bit from the previous part of what was going on, but there could be more to it. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's a bad situation all the way around. Like I said, I don't want it doesn't make me happy to see anybody get in trouble, but I think this is going to be a big problem. Chris, tell us what's coming up next for you. We're going to cut out here in a minute. What's coming up next? What are the next BKFCs to look out for? Are you doing anything else besides BKFC, or they've got you 100%?
Man, fortunately, that's all I'm doing. I was doing this for a long time and trying to be an Indianapolis firefighter. That doesn't work, man. You do too many things halfway. You can't do it. I'm trying to go all in on this. I want to make this organization as good as humanly possible. Man, I'm not kidding. I feel like we are the most exciting thing out there. I love watching this. I'll try and go watch some MMA sometimes. I'm sitting here after a couple of minutes. I'm like, not a lot's going on, but we'll put on 10 fights. We're getting 9 knockouts in BKFC. I love this stuff. I think the whole world's going to love it. Just really trying to make this sport as good as possible, doing as much as I can. So I'm all in on this right now. Okay,
one word answer before we get out. Will we really see Conor fight in BKFC within the next 2 years?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. Erik Apple hanging out with Chris Lytle here on The Fight Guys. We've always got the interesting stuff. Chris, thanks for joining us. Guys, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, brother.